Star Wars 7x7 episode 2629. Yesterday, the trailer for the Hawkeye series debuted. That's a Marvel Cinematic Universe thing if you're not familiar with it. And it's led to renewed speculation about when the Book of Boba Fett will actually debut. We'll talk about that today. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So the Hawkeye series is scheduled to debut on Wednesday, November 24th, and is going to consist of 6 episodes, which means that if it behaves the way that previous series have done, specifically Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then it will run 6 weeks and it will end therefore on December 29th, the last Wednesday of the year. And that's kind of the sticking point because we've all been operating under the presumption that Marvel series and Star Wars series will not overlap. And so if the Book of Boba Fett is coming out in December, as has been most recently said by Robert Rodriguez, and if all Disney Plus series releases are supposed to be happening on Wednesdays now, then yeah, what do you do with the Book of Boba Fett? Now, if you want to go with a solution that will insist on not overlapping a Star Wars series and a Marvel series, well, you'd have to go all the way back to the WandaVision example, which had 2 episodes debut on the day of the premiere. So they released episodes 1 and 2 when it debuted, and then went to weekly with episodes 3 through 9. However, as I've said, they haven't done that with subsequent series, so it's not necessarily a reason to expect that they would go back to that. I mean, yeah, they could do anything they wanted to, of course, but it might be instructive to look at a couple other things. For example, the Marvel What If series that's happening right now is going to continue on its weekly course even as we get Star Wars Visions dropping later this month. So yeah, on Wednesday the 22nd, all of Star Wars Visions is going to be released, and that's going to be the same day that Marvel What If Episode 7 is happening. And lest you think that What If is dispensable, kind of like, oh yeah, it's just a fun little animation thing happening for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it actually kind of ties into the whole Loki premise of multiverses and the fact that, as the series ended, timelines started branching and going crazy and whatnot. And so the What If series is actually kind of a natural exploration for what happens in various timelines as a result of the events of the Loki series. But I'm digressing a little bit. My point is specifically that they are releasing Marvel content and Star Wars content on the same day without issue. So here's the other thing that factors in. When you look at what 2022 is supposed to be like, you kind of get the idea that there has to be overlap in the episode situations. When you look at the number of Marvel series that are coming out and the number of episodes that they're going to have, and you consider the number of episodes in the series for the Star Wars related items coming out, there's not enough time to not have them overlap. I mean, right now there are 3 series for Marvel that are supposed to be coming in 2022, and a 4th one that's probably going to get pushed from 2021 into 2022. So the Ms. Marvel series was supposedly going to be debuting by the end of this year, and right now the industry talk is that it's going to be pushed into 2022. So with the Ms. Marvel series, and then also a She-Hulk series, a Moon Knight series starring your friend and mine, Poe Dameron's Oscar Isaac, and also a Secret Invasion series, that is a total of 28 episodes of television. Add to that the Andor series, which is 12 episodes, and the Kenobi series, which is 6 episodes, and you've got 46 hours of content right there. Now, let's add the Book of Boba Fett into the situation here and assume, sure, for the sake of argument, that December 29th is the date that it comes out. We still don't know how many episodes there are going to be, but they've said that Robert Rodriguez is directing, quote-unquote, several episodes, and we know that Bryce Dallas Howard is going to direct at least one, Dave Filoni is going to direct at least one, and Jon Favreau is going to direct at least one. So let's just be conservative and say the, quote, several for Robert Rodriguez is 3. That gives us 6 episodes, which means 5 of them at least are going to be in 2022. And that doesn't even account for The Mandalorian Season 3, and it doesn't even account for The Bad Batch, which had 16 episodes for its first season, so it's reasonable to think that with the second season we'd get about as many episodes. And so what I'm getting at is that I think we need to leave behind this idea that there's not going to be any overlap between Star Wars series and Marvel series. And in fact, it almost makes a lot of sense for Disney Plus to start kind of daisy chaining them to some degree, right? Like have, the last week or two of a Marvel series leading right into the first week or two of a Star Wars series, because there is overlap in the fandoms and Disney wants to reduce their churn. So why would you want to have a gap in between the series where you would give people a reason to just unplug the Disney Plus app for a while and then wait and then come back? No, you want to keep them on the train as much as possible if you're Disney Plus. You don't want people to unsubscribe. And so it makes a lot more sense to not separate the Disney and the Marvel series, but to actually kind of have them link over each other. I'm saying link over because I didn't want to say crossover, because that has its own implications, and I'm not saying that there's going to be a Marvel Star Wars crossover, but that would be fun. That would kind of be fun. But you get what I mean, right? They're going to overlap with each other in the release schedules, because that's really what is ultimately in the best interest of Disney Plus for keeping the subscriber base in place. However, I will say I don't think Star Wars series themselves are going to overlap, and I know that we did an episode not too long ago talking about the release dates potentially for Andor and for Kenobi and for Mandalorian Season 3, and what I didn't take into consideration at the time was the timetable for a Bad Batch series and when that might happen within everything. So yeah, that we might have to explore a little bit separately. But for now, I think that just, I think gives us a better way of thinking about the Book of Boba Fett and not being so tied to this idea that it can't overlap with a Marvel series. In fact, I now fully expect it to release either on December 22nd or December 29th. And I feel confident in saying that it's going to be at least 6 episodes, but whether it's, 8 like The Mandalorian or all the way to 12 like Andor or some other random number in between, who knows? That is to be revealed, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because I think we're all anxious for that sort of thing. Probably we'll hear something more, let's see, August, September, October, November. Yeah, hopefully October, but certainly by November, I would say, with the Disney Plus Day that's happening then, and also the investor earnings report that's happening in November too. Anyway, there you go. That's what I've got for you today about talk about the Book of Boba Fett release date and how it may or may not be affected by the dates of the Hawkeye limited series. And that's going to do it for this episode of the show as well. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.